Let's talk through how assignments work in this class. Let's start with topic 2, since that represents a more complete week with typical assignments. To start the week, you'll have the prepare and reflect, which you see up here, the T2 prepare and reflect, which is due on a Saturday. This prepare and reflect assignment tells you which chapter or chapters or sections of chapters to read, and it tells you what to look for while you're reading. So just as a reminder, you don't have to fully read every sentence of every chapter, because I'm not going to cover every topic that the textbook covers. So while you read the chapter, look for these learning outcomes, and that will be a guide for what to focus on while you read. You also are free to approach this assignment in a variety of different ways. You can read the chapter first, looking for these learning outcomes, and then take the prepare and reflect assignment. Or you can take the prepare and reflect assignment and look for the answers while you read the chapter. Or you can take the prepare and reflect assignment before reading the chapter, and then once you're done with the prepare and reflect assignment, you'll know what to look for more while you read the chapter. So as I'm not picky on that, whatever you think will help you most with your learning. This prepare and reflect assignment has 2 attempts. The first attempt is due on the Saturday before the topic. The second attempt will be opened up on Monday and is due by the end of the semester. And this second attempt will only be opened up if you finish this first attempt on time. The higher score will be kept, which means that you don't actually need to stress about your performance on your first attempt that's due before we even cover the topic. I don't expect you to do well. I expect you to do pretty poorly on the first attempt because you're just trying it. You're just seeing what the topic is about before we actually present the material and learn what the topic is about. So if you find yourself taking too long on the prepare and reflect assignments, just keep in mind that the first attempt is purely to expose you to the material, and you do not need to do perfectly on the first attempt. Spend more time on other assignments in the class, and then save your time for the second attempt, where you can see how you've done on the first attempt, see my feedback, and then do better. And then you'll be able to up your score for the second attempt. I also advise you to save the second attempt so that it's a good review of the material. So for example, this T2 prepare and reflect is due on Saturday, but this topic 2 material will be on the final exam. So if you take the second attempt somewhere towards the end of the semester, it'll be a good way to review this material before you see it on the final exam. So that's the prepare and reflect assignment. That's due on Saturday. Once we come to class on Monday, you'll have the T2 in-class problems, and we will be going through those in-class problems in class. Most weeks, especially for a half semester class, we won't have time to make it through all of the questions in the in-class problems, and so I'll be scheduling a review session probably on Tuesdays, where we'll meet through Teams. I'll set up a Teams meeting, and I'll finish going through the in-class problems. Attendance at the review sessions is not mandatory, but if you do attend the review session, it will count for makeup points. But either way, the recording of the review session will be posted so that you can complete the in-class problems and whatever else we go through during the review session. So those are due. So these in-class problems are due either on Monday if we finish it all in class, or on Tuesday if we need to use the review session. This T2 application assignment is due on Saturday, and it is another way of applying the concepts that we've covered in topic 2. I'll usually give some guidance on how to get started on the application assignments during class, either on Monday or on Wednesday, or during the review session, but you mostly will need to complete this on your own time or with your groups during class on Wednesday. The T2 quiz number 1 is due on Tuesday and must be completed on your own. It's proctored using Proctorio, so you're going to treat it like an actual test, closed notes, closed books. We're covering the material for the second time on Monday. For the first time on Saturday is the Prepare and Reflect assignment that you're doing on your own. So having a quiz, a closed notes, closed book quiz, like basically after just 2 exposures to the material is pretty quick. So once again, I don't expect you to do particularly well on this first quiz. But the quiz is just there to help you know what it is that you know. It's easy to feel that you know the material once you're going through it with me in class because I'm giving you all the answers. So this quiz will let you know, okay, oh, I thought I understood this concept, but it turns out that I don't know how to apply it in these new contexts, or I don't fully understand the learning outcomes as well as I thought. So because I don't expect you to do particularly well on the first quiz, that's why I have this second quiz, which we will finish. You actually have different options. Let me bring it up. So you can either complete this quiz during class in a group, or outside of class in a group if you meet through Teams or otherwise, or you can complete it on your own. If you complete it on your own, you'll need to provide explanations for each question that you got wrong on your first attempt. So it will take a little extra time if you do it on your own to provide those explanations. So working through the second quiz as a group is much more straightforward. You just talk through it. If you meet in class, that's all you have to do is just talk through it, and I'll be there to answer any questions that your group has. If you meet outside of class as a group, then you'll need to prove that you met with a recording of your group meeting. The quiz number 2 has the same questions as the first quiz, which is why you're going through and seeing what mistakes you made on the first quiz and correcting them. But your score on quiz number 2 does not replace your score on quiz number 1. So the last way to make up points or to improve your score for quiz number 1 is to complete the makeup points. There's several different things that you can do for makeup points. You can complete SmartBook assignments through McGraw-Hill Connect. You can complete a mind map. You can complete additional application assignments. Most of them are through McGraw-Hill Connect. You can create flashcards. You can attend the review session and participate in that. Or you can meet with me to go through whatever assignments or learning outcomes that you need to work on. All of these links will provide more details on what is required for these makeup points. You only need to do one of these activities in order to get the maximum number of makeup points. So if you miss 5 points on the first quiz and you complete one of these activities, you'll receive 5 makeup points as long as you've done the activity and you've submitted your work and it's accurate and complete. If you don't fulfill all the requirements for one of these activities, then you won't get the maximum number of makeup points. So let me explain why I've set up the assignments in this way and with these due dates. So as I mentioned, having the first quiz due on Tuesday doesn't give you much time to study for the quiz before taking it. And that's on purpose. I don't want you to study for the first quiz beyond what we do in class and in the Prepare and Reflect. So don't spend extra time studying before the quiz. The reason why I don't want you to study before the quiz is because it's kind of a waste of time to study before the quiz. Before the quiz, you don't know what you don't know. But after the quiz, now you know what you don't know, and you can use the makeup points activities to focus on those things that you don't know and get better at them. So don't study before the quiz, use your results from the quiz to guide what you should study as you do the makeup points. Another great way to know what you should study and know what you need to learn for this class, it's a good idea to periodically check these learning outcomes. So if you click on outcomes, it will have a list, and you'll notice that this list includes both the 2010 learning outcomes that we're covering this first half of the semester, and then if you've signed up for Econ 2020, it also includes these the 2020 learning outcomes, just so you can see what we're doing later. So you click on one of the topics. So I've already provided videos that cover these learning outcomes: scarcity, opportunity cost, marginal analysis, and production possibilities. Once you click on a learning outcome, it will give you exactly what I will be quizzing you on, what I expect you to learn about this learning outcome. So then you can take this and, for example, you can make flashcards that help you understand or demonstrate or identify whatever it is that you need to do. Or you can go into the McGraw-Hill Connect and find SmartBook assignments that help you with these different learning outcomes. And you'll notice that the SmartBook assignments have the same numbering system and naming system. So you can easily find, okay, I don't actually understand opportunity cost. Now I can go into the SmartBook assignments and find the opportunity cost SmartBook assignment and quiz myself there. So the outcomes are all listed here. You can see exactly what it is you need to know. The other great resource is if you check your grades. Oops. If you check your grades, nope, sorry, one second. There's two ways to view, or there's two things that your grades are tracking. One is just your grades that actually count for your GPA by the end of the semester. But one is learning mastery. So learning mastery doesn't affect your final GPA grade, but learning mastery does keep track of which learning outcomes you've mastered, and the more learning outcomes you've mastered, the better you'll do on quizzes and the better you'll do on the final exam. And so even though learning mastery doesn't directly affect your grade, it does matter because it will help you do better on the assignments that do affect your grade. So this student has mastered scarcity, the T0.1 scarcity learning outcome, but has not mastered any of the other T0 or T1 learning outcomes. So let's actually go back to the assignments. So this student has got a perfect score on the T0 learning outcomes quiz, but did not do very well on the first quiz in T1. This student also completed the T1 prepare and reflect. If you click on this icon, you'll see that I've left a comment that you can view about the assignment in general. You can also click on the assignment itself from your grades, and as you scroll down and look at individual questions, if there's a box like this, that's feedback that I've left for that specific question. A lot of the feedback will be general, so even if you got full points on this question, this feedback will still show up. But sometimes I will also leave more personalized feedback. So, for example, this is the general feedback for this opportunity cost question, and then I left more specific feedback specific to what the student answered. So be sure before you can complete your second attempt, be sure to check your first attempt and see what comments I've left there for you so that you can do better on your second attempt. Anyway, going back to grades. So all of these assignments that the student has completed have led to this calculation of the learning mastery. So if you go to, for example, opportunity cost, there was a couple of opportunity cost questions on the T0 learning outcomes quiz, which received full points, but then I didn't get full points for the T1 prepare and reflect opportunity cost question. And then I got the questions wrong about opportunity costs that were in the T1 quiz. Mastery favors more recent assignments more heavily. So even though I did well on the first couple of assignments, because I forgot what I learned originally and did poorly on the next assignments, that's why my mastery score has gone down. If you continue to do well, however, you will gain mastery. And so as you complete quizzes and prepare and reflect assignments, it's helpful to check this learning mastery grade in order to figure out, okay, I've done really poorly on multiple shifts. I should probably go in and do a SmartBook assignment or an additional application assignment or some other make-up points activity in order to gain mastery in this topic. So those are my tips for doing well in this class and making it through the assignments. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Don't forget that you can meet with me. If you click on Contact Your Instructor, there's instructions for scheduling a time to meet with me.